Hello and welcome to another episode of Study of X. I am your host Tim, and this is a podcast covering the Krakoa era of X-Men comics. With me as always is Sergio.
Hi, I'm glad you got that in one. We did not have to record this intro like 3 times.
Hey, I don't know what you mean this was one take. Also joining me is Chris.
You know, just like the Hellions on their adventure, we did this in one go and succeeded.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, everything went perfectly fine.
Yeah, it was
and there were no issues.
No problems at all. We solved everything.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the Arachno side is going to be so embarrassed when they realize this whole tournament is null and void because they didn't realize their swords got stolen.
I know, they were just using fake swords the whole time.
I know. It's really embarrassing.
Yeah.
I wonder if Saturnyne's gonna just revoke all of their points.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool how Mr. Sinister just replaced them all with prop swords.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
for once he did the right thing.
I'm shocked they didn't notice. But yeah. So we got some fun issues this week. We got Hellions number 6, Cable number 6, and X-Men number 15. The Hellions maybe aren't quite as victorious as we've been talking about.
I dare say it goes worse for them than maybe we thought.
It goes about as badly as you can imagine.
Yeah.
Yes. But in a very, very fun way.
But yeah. It's definitely fun. But yeah, do you want to jump into it here?
Yeah, sounds good. So with Hellions number 6, this is written by Zeb Wells and was released in November of 2020. And we are opening up here actually with a bit of a time jump. Last time we saw the Hellions, they had just entered Otherworld and were going to start making their way over to the Iraqi gate. And now it looks like they finally made it, stepping foot on Araco soil.
We actually, just to bring it back a little bit further, we start this off with a quote. "I do not scorn your fear nor condemn your hatred. These show your heart has wisdom. We come to end you." It's from somebody named Tarn the Uncaring. I wonder who that could be.
Big words for someone called the Uncaring.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that means he cares a lot.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like they do not care about the poetry here.
But, yeah, we made it through the gate. We made it through to the, it looks like Arakoa. And yeah, we're all good. That horse is still here.
Horse is here. Everyone's here.
Barely.
Someone lost an eye.
Havoc lost an eye. Nanny.
Nanny's dented.
Yeah.
At the top of her head, which is not great.
Sinister has, a spear with something dangling off of it, like a trophy. So yeah, I think things have gone well for them.
Grey Crow still under Empath's control.
Yeah.
Yes, and Empath is actually getting tired of it too. Which I think is kind of a bit of a funny turn for that.
That's how you know it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
They faced someone called the Feculent Unwed.
Yes, I don't know who that is. I don't think I want to know who that is because the name alone is pretty gross. I'm glad we skipped that.
Yeah. Apparently Havoc lost his eye from a hippogriff bridge toll. I think that's pretty funny too. I
think that's a pretty good result for getting past a hippogriff.
Yeah.
Bridge toll.
I would.
All in all, an eye.
Yeah,
not that bad.
Not bad at all. Meanwhile, Grey Crow was over here whispering to Empath that he still has his rations if he's hungry at all, and Empath is getting just very clearly annoyed by Grey Crow. Also, has apparently managed to grow a goatee in their time here.
Yeah, so it's been a while. I'm sure they still have enough time before the tournament, though, right?
Yeah.
Thankfully, there is this very friendly Iraqi mutant just hanging out on a rock here, lounging, and he does let these Krakoan mutants know that, unfortunately, the tournament is actually well underway, and they're way too late to actually stop anything.
Yeah. immediately just says, "You are sent on a fool's errand. What were you even doing?" But yeah, this guy seems like bad news. First line out of his mouth is just commenting on Sinister saying he's trying to get his prize. And he's just like, yeah, what prize brought this mutant stock for me? And just nobody that refers to a person as stock is on the level, I would say.
Yeah. He looks a little bit like a lizard, a white one. He's got a long robe from his head and black leggings.
He looks like a Star Wars alien.
He does kind of look like a Star Wars alien.
But yeah, comments that they were sent on a fool's errand. Havoc immediately realizes they've kind of been duped about this mission. And we start off fighting.
Yeah, at first fighting Sinister because, he was sure they had to cross that bridge and Havoc had to lose his eye, which he's still not happy about. But this mysterious Iraqi mutant is going to take advantage of this and look into Sinister's mind to see exactly why he and his group are here. And he realizes, oh, you're here to take Iraqi mutant genes. Of course, that's what you want.
Yeah, the Hellions are not happy to hear this, knowing that they thought they were trying to do, actual good here. Turns out this whole mission was just nonsense for Sinister to further his own goals. Who would have thought?
There are some really good Pokemon Go spawns over in the Iraqi side. He just wants his Pokemon.
Yeah, he's got more fuel for the gene farm.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Lucky for Mr. Sinister, he walked into the one person who is in charge of the Iraqi gene farm, which is Tarn the Uncaring.
This is kind of ridiculous.
Funny alien-looking guy looks like. Or is.
Yeah. As they're kind of fighting, Tarn just comments like, "Hey, your mutants talk back to you. That's weird. My mutants don't do that." And Sinister immediately takes notice of this.
He's like, "You have mutants too? I would love to see them." It's like he has his own Pokemon card collection and is like, "Show me."
Yeah. So Tarn ends just we go to a full page spread here of Tarn saying, "To me, my locust vial," and we get just a bunch of freaks.
This is by definition the freakest of bunches.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. They're fantastic and gross and weird.
So we get some names for them on this next data page immediately afterward, and we can kind of describe them a little bit here.
Ooh. Yeah, so we did hear the name Locust Vial before, where they were describing a little bit more about Araco and what happened afterwards, what happened with Annihilation. These are the mutant demon hybrids that were experimented on for a very long time, so they're not exactly looked fondly upon by pretty much anybody.
They have these, horror movie masks on. Is my best way to describe them. They're like this real glossy sheen. Some of them look different than the others. I think there's Hex Butcher over here who has spikes poking through his Mudgear the Recanter, meanwhile, doesn't really seem to have a full mask. It's just almost like a visor over his eyes.
Yeah, kind of like a masquerade of some sort, like a masquerade mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is kind of explained in the data page where it explains what's holy to the vial, and part of it is you have to give up your sense of self and who you are to become a canvas for Tarn, who is the great genomic mage of Araco.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so we mentioned Hex Butcher and Mudgear the Recanter. We also have Mother Rapture, Sick Bird, and Amino Fetus. So just good names for these.
Really, really good name. I'm still a big fan of the name Amino Fetus because, one, that's gross, and in a way I can't really describe. And also, that is the largest of the group. It's just this very large bulbous creature that is towering over everybody, and they each have some descriptions alongside them. And Amino Fetus specifically at the end of his says, but most vitally know this, Amino Fetus must not eat. And we are not told why.
Yeah, and there's like, it's kind of funny in contrast because Hex Butchers is a lot of lines just saying he needs to eat. And then Amino Fetus is like, don't let him eat. But yeah, all of these descriptions are written just like very flowery. Like it's like somebody from Arakawa is describing them. They're very fun. Like Mother Raptures, for instance, is the tamer of the bladefish, the mother of the sacred birth, that journey into death. And it's like, yeah, hell yeah.
There's been a trend, especially now with Araki, but it's like fully formed in this issue about making app references that you don't really have to back up in any way. So it's just like a sort of technovavel that ends up being just a bunch of names and terminology that doesn't really require you to actually even draw anything for it, which I think is really fun.
Yeah, it's like this idea of like just they are going to have references. The culture is going to have references. You don't know that because you aren't really there. These aren't the POV characters. That's
and
neat.
It's played in a very comedic way.
Yeah.
I feel like throughout this whole event, that sort of resource has been used mostly for comedic purposes.
Yeah.
Because there is a way of doing it with restraint in which you are like evoking a tone of like something being dark or sinister. But now we've gone like full mask off, pun not intended. And we know what this event is. And we've got like goofy Mario Party games going on.
Yeah.
I've got like a lot of funny stuff. And yeah, now this is just played for laughs.
But yeah, these dudes, kind of bad news. Sinister's very happy to see them though, has heart eyes as he comments on them being beautiful, while Havoc and Psylocke just tell them that we need to leave.
And Tarn kind of makes this very, very clear to Sinister, who is absolutely not listening, that he has seen inside his mind and knows that Sinister wants to take the Vial's genes for his own so he can start playing with them himself. And the Vial and their genes are Tarn's, and you do not take what is his.
Yeah, it's like...
That does not stop Sinister at all.
Yeah, Tarn's like, hey, I get it, do not do that.
No.
Like, you will get punched in the face if you do that. Havoc repeatedly tells him, hey, are you listening? Like, don't steal their genes. And, yeah, no, Sinister opens up a little box and a bunch of little fly things, like helicopter mosquito things fly out.
Yep.
With, like, just vials on them and immediately just start flying toward them. Tarn just comments, vandals make murder my vial, and the fight is on.
I should say barely a fight, because the first shot here decapitates Nanny.
Yeah,
and
just
she is dead.
Fires some laser at her. Nanny is just gone. Like, half of Nanny is no longer there.
Yeah. Empath freaks out and is like, okay, Grey Crow, you're free, I'm out of here, and he runs back through the gate.
Yeah. The horse is panicking. Orphan Maker's mad. Psylocke and Havoc attempt to kind of get things under control here, but Havoc immediately gets his hands cut off.
Yeah. So, really bad. Even Grey Crow starts to go down as well as the Vial are attacking. Psylocke and Wildchild are able to kind of hold off even just a little bit with Orphan Maker's help, but that still is not going to go well for long.
Yeah,
this goes about as well as every other Hellions fight we've seen.
Yeah, these guys seem very strong. And the Hellions aren't exactly... The Hellions do seem individually strong, but have always been kind of a mess of a team, and they're running up against a wall here. Orphan Maker gets his arms pulled off by Amino Fetus. Just, stuff's rough. But...
yeah, and I have to say, I really like this like little mystery they have with Amino Fetus of like, don't let him feed, because as he rips off Orphan Maker's arm, the rest of the Vile are like, oh no, he's gonna eat, we have to go stop him, and they stop fighting the Hellions to make sure he doesn't eat Orphan Maker's arms, and we still don't know why.
Yeah. So that's bad. But the Hellions aren't exactly in a place to take advantage of it. We're down to just like Psylocke, Wild Child, and Grey Crow here, with Havoc just bleeding on the ground. So Psylocke is like, "Hey, we're losing. We need to leave." And Sinister's like, "Okay, yeah, we're good to go." Hands her the box and says, "All right, make sure this makes it back." And also says, when Psylocke pushes back against this, says like, "Hey, I am looking after one of your packages as well. You make sure this gets back, and we'll be good on that front." And yeah, that seems to really get at the core of what Psylocke is feeling here. And she turns around and asks Wild Child to sacrifice himself so they can leave.
Brutal.
Yep, she definitely does not have a choice here. And Mr. Sinister, for as silly as he is still a really good manipulator and a threat. You know, he knows when to push the right button when he needs to, and this is the perfect opportunity for him to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, Wild Child is very quickly cut down as Psylocke just solemnly looks on as she's going through a portal.
Yep, so that is Nanny and presumably Orphan Maker and now Wild Child all dead here in Araco, which, as we know, if you die in Otherworld or any part of it, coming back is going to be a bit of a problem. So if they do try to be brought back, they might not be themselves.
Yeah.
But as the rest of the Hellions make their way through, Mr. Sinister is going to be the last through, but get stopped by Tarn and his psychic powers, where Tarn is a little interested in this fellow rewriter of genes, and decides to pick him apart and see what's inside this man who is touched by brilliance and mutilated by madness.
If I were to describe what Tarn does to Sinister here, have any of y'all ever seen One Piece?
I have not.
Okay, there is a character called Buggy the Clown whose powers is he can split himself into multiple parts. That's this. Like it's
Oof.
yeah,
Okay.
it's brutal.
That's rough.
Yeah.
You know, at least here with Mr. Sinister, it's not voluntary.
Yeah.
This is not something he wants to do.
Yeah, it looks like Mr. Sinister is made of like putty in this.
Yeah.
Yes.
In this panel.
Yeah, you don't see his insides. It's just kind of
just gets
gray.
sliced. Yeah.
Yeah. But it looks awful. And as far as we know, either Sinister is very dead or he's still over there. We're not sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Not a great time either way.
But yeah, we go into a data page here.
It's pretty long. Again, it is from one of the priestesses of Saturnyne who was trying to get her horse back, and basically explains a little bit more of what the Hellions were doing in between their travels as well as afterwards. There is some mentions here that Empath did make it out, as did some others, but their numbers were less, as well as the fact that the omniversal steed is now gone, which is very sad.
Yeah, I don't know if we saw what happened to that horse. I went back to look and it just kind of disappears.
I have a feeling it probably just ran off.
Yeah, I don't know if we see it after Nanny gets like zapped off of it.
Yeah, I think just in the fighting, it probably just went somewhere else. Hopefully back through the gate, since it's the omniversal steed and it knew what to do. But it's probably in Araco somewhere having an absolutely terrible time.
But yeah, the note ends with Johanna of the Rangers commenting that they're going to finish off the lime smead they were gifted, and I think they're going to try to track down the rest of the party from the Hellions here.
Mm-hmm. And they are actually successful.
Yeah.
As we see on the next page that the remaining crew, which is Greycrow, Havoc, Psylocke, and soon-to-be Empath, are back at the Avalon Gate in the court of King Jaime, and are very quickly cornered by Saturnyne's remaining guards, before Empath comes in and is able to, work his magic and usher them away.
Yeah. He saves them. Greycrow comments that he's a genius and just walks up to him, kind of like he's still almost hypnotized. And as he just kind of warms up to Empath, he just stabs him in the gut and says, like, "Hey man, you probably shouldn't die here. That probably sucks, but crawl to the gate." It's really mean. Empath had this coming.
Absolutely. I mean, Greycrow did warn him twice now that if he does this, he will kill him. And so far, he's kept his word twice.
Yeah.
So really, Empath has himself to blame here.
But yeah, we've made it back to Krakoa. We did it.
Ooh, we did it. You people are alive. They can tell the council what happened. Maybe Sinister's gonna get in trouble, and we can just revive those that died.
Yeah. But right as they've gone through, smoke fills the air, and Sinister stabs Psylocke, shoots Havoc, and seems to presses a button, and Greycrow disintegrates, it seems.
Yeah, I don't entirely know what happens to Greycrow here, or how Sinister is able to do that. I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve because of the fact that the Five and everything are using some of the genetic data that Sinister has collected over time. I'm sure he's got something extra in there, but it also could be, related to any other thing that Sinister and Greycrow have gone through.
Yeah. Right as all this happens, Sinister picks up the box he gave Psylocke and just says, "You did a very good job." Empath manages to make it through the gate, ask him what he's doing before, succumbing to his wounds and dying.
He did make it through.
And then Sinister just damages his clothes a little bit before running out of the smoke, acting like all the Hellions were killed.
Yes, and he, the lone survivor, made it out.
Yeah.
And that is the end of this issue of Hellions.
Mission accomplished.
We did it.
Mission accomplished. I agree. I think everything went swell.
For someone.
Yeah.
Yes. For one person. For everybody else, not so much. For 3 members of the team, they might not even come back as themselves. So, pros and cons.
Yeah, if they even come back, I think they've pretty much said they're not doing resurrection. So, we'll see
if they were to bring Nanny back, what shape would she have now instead of an egg?
Instead of an egg?
I hope it's cube, Nanny.
I was gonna say I kind of want it to be a square, just complete opposite.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Sergio? What shape?
I don't know. I feel like a pyramid, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
But yeah, good job, Hellions.
I have to say, for since we're actually starting to get to the end here of X of Swords, I've been thinking about each of the issues and everything. And for this entire event, pretty much every single issue is related to the main story going on, and you have to read it. It's not like you can ignore this tie-in or, ignore this issue or something like you can with other comic book events. This one, you kind of have to read everything. The Hellions is the only one I would say you could probably ignore, but even then, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. You shouldn't, and I feel like it's going to, be important in the grand scheme of things. But
yes, but for just the story, the contained story of X of Swords, it's not. You could easily just skip it, but you're doing yourself a disservice if you do. Just because it is fun, and you read the first one where they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go on this adventure, and we're gonna stop the fight before it happens," and even then, you can read that and go, "Yeah, that's not gonna happen." So it's just getting into this one. You're like, "Okay, how does it fall apart?" And it falls apart really well.
I think there is a bit of comedy that almost comes with its placement in this event, because you read the first issue and you do think, there's no way they succeed in this. Just narratively, that doesn't make any sense. But um as more issues happen, you're kind of curious on like what's this other issue of Hellions gonna be. And as you get further into the event and it becomes very clear there's no way they can even like come close to accomplishing the goal, by the time it gets to this issue, you as a reader are very aware that this isn't going to work out for them.
Because even coming into this like issue at this point here, you know they're not going to retrieve the swords or whatever, but there are things that they could do to be useful. Like you can still imagine them being successful to a point where they get at least some intelligence on Araco or what have you.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. They could have done something. They could have even like impeded somebody for a little bit, but they still get the sword.
Yeah.
No, they don't even get close.
Yeah, it's a complete failure in everything except like what Sinister originally set out to do. In which case, very successful. Sinister did great here, but no one else did.
Yeah, which I'm very happy that is still the through line for that comic so far, which is this team absolutely sucks, and they still do.
I almost think it's unfair to say this team sucks. I think they are set up for failure.
That's probably not the right way for me to put it. I agree. When you said individually everybody here is very strong, you're right. It's their teamwork that just doesn't exist.
Yeah, and there's...
So if they could ever figure that out, I do think that they're going to have a leg up. But until they do, no. They're going to either keep killing each other or getting themselves killed, or maybe even Sinister keeps killing them himself. I mean, they're really just all in a very bad spot.
Well, that's the thing. There's not really an incentive to, like, actually have them get better as a team. Like, that's not what they're here for. They're here... Sinister wants this team so he can figure out, or he can manage to accomplish goals of his while seeming like he's trying to help out Krakow as a whole. And if they die, who cares? They're meat shields for Sinister.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, is what everyone on the Quiet Council is doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sinister is just the one we get to see because it's funny.
Yeah. Sinister is the most overt about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would agree there. And we're going to see some of that Quiet Council conversation, too, when it comes to other groups and other teams.
Yeah. And we want to see a little bit of that, I think, in Cable. I don't know if we get all that in Cable, but...
I think it starts in Cable.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of folds over. But, okay, we'll get to our next issue here, which, as we've been saying, is Cable number 6. This one is written by Gary Duggan and released also in November of 2020. And we are going to open up here as the Quiet Council that is still here is waiting for Mr. Sinister to appear and give his report about what happened on their journey to Araco.
Yeah, real skeleton crew of a Quiet Council here, by the way.
Yeah, most of the people involved are gone. I mean, Apocalypse is gone, Storm is gone, Jean's not here. You know, there's just not very many people
Sinister
here to do this.
Also gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as we're all sitting here discussing, Sinister walks in.
He's a bit late, but that's because he did need to go back and get a cape, which again, very important. And there's a fun little interaction here where Kate is a bit baffled that he went to go get a cape, and Sinister fires back that she's dressed like she found the remainders of her clothes in the Xavier School Lost and Found box. And even Emma kind of agrees with that, which I think is really funny.
Yeah.
Fantastic facial expressions in these panels.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I will say if there's something that this artist can do, which is Phil Noto, it's faces. He's really good at them.
Yeah, I love this expression of Kate just looking appalled while Emma's just very resigned while just kind of staring at her nails. It's good stuff. But yeah, Sinister gets up front here and says, yeah, it's a good thing you guys banned people from going over there. It's a madhouse. Like, it's we don't want to go over there.
Yep, they have been training in war for thousands of years. We have not. They tore through us. you absolutely should do more, because if we lose, this is going to be really bad. They're going to chew through Otherworld and come through the gate here.
Yeah.
Which Xavier reminds him closing the gate is not an option because Krakoa does not want that.
Yeah. And Sinister says that's a mistake that could cost us and walks off. Also, just very bluntly says, like, nobody that walked out of here with swords is coming back. Like, everybody is going to die.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, is not, like, things are not looking good over there. He's probably right.
Yeah, it's not looking great.
Yeah, this is very much the issue where the fact that they could lose becomes a reality for a lot of people, especially those over in Otherworld, as we're gonna see. They're right. I mean, they're losing very badly.
Yeah, the only reason not everyone's dead right now is because we're in Saturnyne's wild multiversal festival games showcase. But if it were what they were expecting it to be, it'd be so over.
Yeah, it would be very over. I don't see how they could have, like, possibly won this out. I think they managed to kill, like, Redroot, but I don't know if the rest of this goes their way. Speaking of nothing, when we go to the little intro page here, death is not crossed out as far as people that are dead. I kind of think that's a mistake.
I also saw that, and I thought that was interesting. So either, he's a lot stronger than we think, and he was able to make it through all of those zombies, or, like you said, it's a mistake. I feel like this is a bit big for them to make a mistake for.
I mean, it's just like the little intro page,
know.
so I could see it. But we don't see death in the rest of this, so I cannot confirm or deny if death is alive or not.
Yeah, even if they are alive, they'd be out of the competition, I would think.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with that.
But
Yep, we have our next contest here, which is in the ruins of Dryador. It is Bay the Blood Moon against Cable, with a few mutants on either side watching. And we get a lot of Cable's internal dialogue here, as he, wants to make his dad proud and is doing this as best he can, but he's losing. He's realizing that they are very much outmatched. And as he fights Bay, he is able to use a trick under his sleeve and knock her out. And before he is able to deal the killing blow, he knows Cypher is in the audience, and Cypher and Bay are married. And that second of hesitation before killing Bay is enough to let her get back up and take the advantage.
Yeah, she shoves him into the ground, slams his face into the mud, and breaks his arm. Cable is just heartbroken at this point. And Cypher yells at her to stop. And just says, like, hey, you don't have to do this. Saturnyne remarks that the fight was to the death, but sees how broken Cable is and just says some deaths are in spirit. And Arakoa gets the point 18-6.
Yeah, I do like this. It's been a through line with Cable throughout this whole event of he's living in the shadow of his older self, the quote-unquote cooler Cable, and he's very much trying to live up to that and hasn't. I mean, he got the Fool card for the tarot reading. He's been trying to engage with Apocalypse, and Apocalypse looks down on him every second. And now, in the middle of this fight, as he's about to die, he calls out for his dad.
Yeah.
So, it's not great.
It's this very just, like, somber moment for this character. He's very clearly just, he's in over his head and doesn't know how to handle it. But all I will say, Krakow should have gotten the point there because it said to the death, and Cable got to the death quicker.
You're still upset about that.
I am upset about it.
That's probably the most unfair one.
Yeah, that one is nonsense.
I would agree. That one was very silly.
Yeah, but Cable puts his arm in a makeshift sling out of like one of his like pouch belts thing, which I think is pretty, and gets on his little telepathy call with his mom and dad.
Yep. Despite being in completely different realities, he is able to talk to Jean, and she definitely feels the pain he's going through. And he explains, hey, we're losing really bad. It's 18-6. We're not doing well. Betsy's gone.
Yeah, it's
you're gonna have to do something.
It's this very desperate conversation. I like this a lot. You see like a tear kind of go down Cable's eyes as he's saying this. This is very much like this is literally like you're calling your parents for help. Like you have like he's just gotten to his breaking point. He can't do this anymore. Cyclops again reacts like a parent, like, who hurt you?
And again, great faces. Cable's like, I don't know her name, but it's Doug's large wife.
Yeah.
And Jean's like, what? What do you mean Cypher got married?
Yeah, I like this face quite a bit. But yeah, as Cable's trying to just like get in some last words, Saturnyne says, none of this, and just snaps off the conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to give any points to Saturnyne. Maybe a half point to Saturnyne for being like, hey, this kid is hurting. He can talk to his parents for a little bit, because she could have shut that off right at the start if she wanted to.
Yeah. I also like the implication here that Jean is just deliberately ignoring the Quiet Council.
Yes, I also really like that.
They turned off the phone call, and Cyclops is very upset, is not taking this well, does not want to lose his kid. And Jean and Cyclops decide they're going to go fix this.
Mm-hmm. Again, I'm going to give shout-outs to X-Men 97. That made this scene hit a lot harder, of Scott really, really wanting to protect Cable.
Yeah. Definitely made me think of that as well.
Yeah.
I also really like Saturnyne here, having control over the communications in this way, and you just know she's been like overhearing everything, especially... Yeah, I think it's safe to assume that Cable's been sending over information to Jean this whole time, and she waiting until now to disrupt that channel does give her a little bit of flavor in terms of her characterization about how she enjoys having control over things and lets them go on long enough that that she considers it harmless or under control, and now that he's giving them enough information that it might make them act, she cuts it off.
Yeah.
Which I think works well for her character.
I agree. I think that's very good characterization there.
Yeah.
Like, perfectly okay with it for a little bit, but it's like, once it's at a point where it looks like, hey, they might actually show up here, it's time to shut that down. But, scores 18-6, and the next challenge is Gorgon versus the White Sword, also toward the death. We are now just kind of getting this tournament here.
Yeah, it seems like the fun party games have now run out, and the stakes are now plain.
Mario Party is over, it is sword fighting time.
It is a little bit of a letdown for me, but I'll let it pass, because we're in serious times now.
Yeah. It's in-game mode, but yeah, White Sword says, yeah, you'll face me when you get through all my other dudes, and just takes a seat and just starts sending guys out for Gorgon to cut down.
I will say, even though we did move past the silly mini games, the rules here are still very silly, because as Gorgon is cutting guys down 1 at a time, 2 at a time, 3 at a time, Saturnyne's like, yeah, those are all points. Good job.
Yeah, it's very funny because you see like this almost like gloating at first. Cable remarks this isn't fair, and War is just like, yeah, it's not fair. Sucks. And then once they realize, like you see like, the Krakowans just watching on horrified as they realize Gorgon is not going to make it through this. He has his eyes gouged out very early on in this fight. But then, like, Saturnyne remarks, like, oh, yeah, he's slain 13 of us, gives Krakow a lead here of 19-18, and then, like, it just flips, where War is just very upset now, and is like, hey, you need to end this.
Yeah, like, immediately.
Like, do not
playing.
Like, don't let Krakow run up the score here. Like,
yeah, and it's fun that the White Sword very clearly understood this, and was like, yeah, I was just kind of waiting for you to ask nicely.
Yeah. But yeah, White Sword remarks, like, you're gonna serve me. Gorgon says, absolutely not. And he's like, okay, fair enough. And then just kind of stabs him. And that's the end of Gorgon. Apocalypse just kind of comments, this is how a mutant dies, as everybody just looks on horrified.
Which, we should mention that the only people from the Krakoan side that are in attendance are Apocalypse and the youngest of the group. So Magic, Cable, and Cypher.
Yeah, we did not bring the full crews for this. We kind of commented on Arakoas a little bit, but it is just the White Sword, Annihilation, Bay, and War here. But yeah, with Gorgon dead, it brings up the score to an even 19-19. You maybe should have held off on that call a little bit, Cable.
To be fair, it was 18-6. The fact that Gorgon was as good as he was is the fact that they are now even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I like this in the sense that it's nice for Gorgon to die while tying up the score, but also it makes him seem like such a throwaway character that we're probably not gonna see him again for a long time. Or at least that would be my guess, given that he's dying over here.
Yeah, I really wish they did more for Gorgon in this event, and just like earlier in Krakoa, if this was going to eventually be his fate, because he just he feels like such a no-brainer character to kill off here, because it's the guy that didn't really get much on him when he was getting his swords. He just kind of had like a data page and just had like a little throwaway line where he went with Apocalypse to go get his sword as well. He's the one that wasn't really featured much beyond this. We knew he was a war captain and was kind of a big deal, but like didn't really get to do all that much in the actual story. And so it's like, yeah, like if you're going to kill someone here, of course it's going to be Gorgon.
This would be so much more effective for me if this was like Magic or Cypher.
Yeah, I absolutely
being Gorgon, I don't really buy the noble sacrifice in the name of tying up the score, because it is completely overridden by my feelings about him being used as a cheap throwaway character here, just to include a death on Krakoa's side, which is a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
But I guess at least the writers let him have this victory for a while.
Yeah, and like he got some fun moments during X of Swords, so it's not completely a waste, but I do agree with you. I feel like it feels like the cheapest death they could have done here. Which is probably why they went for it, but yeah, I again agreed.
Yeah, there is still a part of me that kind of appreciates it. You know, they turned this character who was a villain for most of the time into doing something for all mutants, you know, dying in this way. And you're right, if they do bring him back whenever that is, he's going to be different.
Yeah.
So this is a very definitive end for Gorgon as we knew him. And even then, you guys summed it up very well. It does feel kind of cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we're tied.
Yeah. So Saturnyne goes on to announce the next two, and Annihilation and Apocalypse both just say, "Save it, we know." And they ready their blades. It's Apocalypse versus Annihilation time. We get a battle log here.
Yes, which gives us all of the contests, who was in them, and who won. This still does have that interesting mistake about the contest of plates that is on here, the one where it seemed like Red Root won the whole thing, but actually Krakoa got the point. So it's not totally cleared up there, but if you wanted all of the info, it's right here.
I'm taking Krakoa winning that as canon. We're gonna say Mojo got mixed up.
Okay, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
I do think it's a shame that if we go that route, it means the contest of Couture was won by Arako, which that's not what the panels depicted.
I know. It also depicts the Lord of the Dance was won by Arako, which also just it's not right. It's incorrect.
Uh-huh.
Some of these are really fun names. I like Jigsaw Battle a lot, even though that's very self-explanatory. Blight Spoke Navigation was apparently between Iska the Unbeaten, Cable, and Magic. I don't think we knew who they were up against in that.
We did not, which again, completely unfair.
Yeah.
Can someone read for me number 21?
Number 21, Kitten Killing, Captain Avalon versus War.
And Arako gets the point.
Yeah.
Good old kitten killing contest.
Yeah.
Thanks, Saturnyne.
Apparently, the torture thing we saw was called torture endurance. Them pushing boulders off a cliff was called the contest of boulders, and the little sea life thing they were doing was battle beneath the waves. So it's just, I feel like it gives you a little bit more of an idea of what the heck they were doing.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, I like this data page. But yeah, we're on to our 25th contest, and we will be not covering that in X-Men number 20 or 15, part 20 of this event.
We get a little bit of it.
Just a tiny bit. We get a tasty morsel.
Yeah.
Yes, especially because we are going to be wrapping this up very soon on the next episode. There's only 2 parts left of X of Swords. So, but moving on to our last and final issue for this episode, this is X-Men 15, written by Jonathan Hickman and released in November of 2020. And we're going to open up here on a rather somber and contemplative Scott on Krakoa, as he thinks about the fact that before they even had a nation, they fought so much to keep what they had, and when all they had was hope. And now that they have a nation, how much harder are they going to fight? How much farther are they willing to go now that they have something actually tangible to protect?
Yeah. And with their kind of conversation done, they say, "Let's go get our boy," and they walk into the Quiet Council.
Mm-hmm. And we get some thoughts here from Jean as she's questioning, her son has asked for help. Why is she still here having to talk to this council when she should be going to save him? And she mentions here that she knows the answer. And it's because what we've built is bigger than what you want. And that's going to be very much the through line for the Quiet Council here.
Yeah. But yeah, our fight is starting between Apocalypse and Annihilation. And apparently the thing with this fight is you can yield or die. So this is not necessarily to the death.
Yeah, there's a bit of an out for this one. And probably good for Apocalypse, because he very much is not looking forward to this fight. It seems like Genesis is, and as is Annihilation the Mask, but he is not. He simply wants to be with his wife again, and he does not want to have to go through all of these hoops in order to do it.
Yeah. But yeah, she takes off the mask and we are fighting.
Yeah, something to note here, because we didn't actually see it prior to this, but Annihilation and Genesis both have distinct voices here. It's denoted by kind of inverting the color of the text box, but we also know now that Genesis can talk for herself.
Yeah.
Sure, the mask is influencing her, but it can also speak at the same time.
I like this little bit here where Apocalypse asks, like, are you going to hide behind the mask? And the mask comments, like, Annihilation comments, yes. Where Genesis from behind the mask says no. It's interesting because their goals still seemed aligned, but like we're not quite agreeing on the details on how we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a bit of an interesting character note. But yeah, back at the Quiet Council.
We have a lot of things to discuss. Jean is essentially going to explain to everybody that Nathan reached out to her and that the tournament is going really, really badly. And, some of the council, we'll say a certain Shaw, is not too interested about Nathan and is more worried about Krakoa itself. And Scott has a plan.
Yeah.
He mentions that the rules that they've agreed to with Saturnyne means that they can't technically go in there and do anything, but that's not going to stop him from trying. And, Scott and Jean pretty much have this plan. They know what they're going to do: smash and grab, go in, get our people, come out, block the gate, and we'll deal with it from there.
Yeah. There's some kind of discussions about the details here, like how are you planning on shutting that down? We bring up Beast stealing the Horde culture tech, so they're just going to use that. And
his awful black CIA stuff actually coming in handy here.
Yeah. So his plan: go in, get everybody out, come back in, close the door.
I'm surprised that Krakoa doesn't really complain throughout this whole conversation, since they were so against closing doors.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised too.
I think it's not because Cypher's not there. It technically can't tell them no.
Yeah.
Here. It could with its own language, but none of them are going to understand it. And Exodus is actually going to have a good point here, where Scott and Jean are assuming that they're going to be victorious in their plan and it's going to work, whereas we've already seen the Hellions go in and get slaughtered. Nathan has already told everybody that they're losing really badly. You know, it seems like if you go through and go into Otherworld, there's a very high likelihood you just don't come back.
Yeah. We could just lose everybody we send in here.
Yeah. And if that's the case, they've already lost Storm, Wolverine, Apocalypse, and a lot of heavy hitters.
Yeah. So sending in more is not like a great idea. But yeah, they Cyclops seems very sure of this, says he's going to go. Jean says she's also going. And then Nightcrawler and Kate jump in and say they'll gladly go. But then Sebastian butts in here and says, yeah, we can't do that. We can't have all of our government walk in like as a strike team and try to battle this out.
Yeah. You know, again, what Jean said, we've built something larger. A nation has to be picked over its people.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he's doing here. And he's going to call for a vote, saying that if you go and leave right now, you will lose your seat on the council. And the vote passes. Even Xavier and Magneto vote for it. The only ones who don't vote in favor are Emma, Kate, and Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it makes sense.
And Jean, but yeah.
And Jean, right. I forget she's on the council at this point.
Yeah, she won't be for long.
No, because she is still absolutely going, even with that vote passing. Nightcrawler also is trying to reaffirm it, but, you know, Jean says, no, you have to stay. You are the heart of the people. Kate also says she will go, but Cyclops reminds her that they're going to be going through a gate, which she still cannot go through.
Yeah, it's it is interesting because, yeah, like, as people start volunteering to go, like, even at the expense of their seat, Jean has to just be like, no, we need you here to balance out the people that just voted this down.
Yeah. So, but interesting to note is Emma does contact Scott psychically to say, hey, you shouldn't lie to Kate. That's not, something you should do. So it seems like whatever Scott has in mind, even though he says it's going to use a gate, it's probably not.
Yeah. And
for a second, I thought that was a lie about Kate's ability to go through gates, and I thought there was something more going on.
Yeah,
it makes a lot more sense if
Cyclops is
going through a gate.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, Emma asks if she can come as well. She asks, like, do you want me to come? And Cyclops just tells her, like, no, don't worry about it. I know you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She likes money too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exodus again brings up that there is still the cost of losing everybody here, and if that's the case, they do lose everybody, and an invasion is going to happen. They need to close the door. So there is again a vote held if they should close the gate, or the gates, I should say, and it again passes with the same votes for and against.
Yeah. Yeah, Xavier says I don't have the luxury of just thinking about one mutant anymore. But yeah, Cyclops just says, like, I was raised to know, like, what the right thing to do is here, and I'm gonna go do it.
Yeah, you cannot do a suicide mission and then just ask for the door to be left open.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this entire page in the next one is essentially just doublespeak, of Cyclops saying, hey, I was raised to do the right thing no matter what. I get it. You guys are in charge of a nation. You can't do this just for one person, but I sure can, and that's how I was raised. Thumbs up to his two dads, and then is just gonna leave.
Yeah. Yeah, and just kind of remarks, like, I find this unacceptable, just not jumping in to save people here. And then comments that you formed this council to be the new government. We're the X-Men, we're heroes.
Mm-hmm. Which I find very interesting, considering a data page later that's gonna talk a little bit about the X-Men and the name.
Yeah, Magneto and Xavier.
I think it's a little out of place, but it does its work, I guess.
Yeah, because Uh, so just to kind of pull it back a little bit before we jump into this data page, Magneto and Xavier look on fondly as they watch Cyclops and Jean go off. And we get a data page here about Krakoan government, which does kind of make sense in the context of we haven't really seen an X-Men team despite being 15 issues into the X-Men book.
Yes, we are, about a year and a half into this Krakoan era at this point, and yeah, there is no actual X-Men team. It's just kind of different groups of mutants doing different things. Part of that's explained here, but the first part here is about the foundation of the Krakoan government, and it mentions that the Quiet Council was formed specifically of opposing ideologies to hopefully keep actual conflict down by letting all of that energy and headbutting get out in this political space. And in order to also help that is the Great Captains system that are in place, because if there is war or large-scale fighting, it doesn't go to the members of the Quiet Council, it goes to the Great Captains. So again, there's a separation of powers kind of in place.
The Krakoan government deciding that one of the first things we need is political parties is kind of nuts to me. But
I also think that's kind of crazy, but
sure.
Sure. All right, buddy.
But then, yeah, we our next data page here is regarding the X-Men, and they have decided they're going to retire the name X-Men, even though that is a name that gets just attributed to like any mutants, really.
I there's a lot to talk about with this data page. I like it and I don't. I like the idea behind it because it's basically saying the Quiet Council should be the highest law and body in mutantdom, and having an X-Men team means that they're going to compete for each other because everybody knows the X-Men. At the same time, I haven't totally seen that in play, and they kind of reference that here with how the fact that the term X-Men is used for individual mutants of quote-unquote nobility status, and to place them above others. Like, if you see a mutant who is, strong or has done, like, a lot of things, you call them an X-Men, even if they're not technically a member of the X-Men, because they are important, they stand out, they are somebody.
Yeah, it's a catch-all for mutants. I feel like this makes sense in universe, where it's like, if you got saved by, like, a New Mutants team, you'd be like, oh yeah, the X-Men, like, you wouldn't make a distinction there of, like, these are the New Mutants.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah. It's just like, oh yeah, this is X-Force, and it's like, nah, it's X-Men.
Those are the X-Men. It's like, oh, that's not a PlayStation 2, that's a Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's a catch-all term. And this document definitely reads like, a government document where they're like, well, obviously the Quiet Council has to be the highest and above, even in terms of, what we call each other. But
yeah, I think that's a silly concern. I mean, the X-Men has never been a governing body of any sort.
Yeah.
I wouldn't confuse like the FBI with the United States government, with like the legislative branch.
Yeah.
I agree, but I can see why they're doing it here, because the X-Men have been established long before the Quiet Council. So if Cyclops came up to you and said, we need to do this, most people would listen to him before they would listen to the Quiet Council said to do this.
Yeah, but the Quiet Council is like Xavier and Magneto.
Yeah.
True. But I just think the term doesn't hold as much weight as they want it to.
I think this is very like forced. And I don't like that this is here. I think that this would land a lot better with me if this had been like an early Krakoa decision rather than being crammed after the page where it lends weight to Scott's line.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I feel like this is something that should have been brought up back like early on when we're seeing the government kind of form. I agree.
If this was a decision, if long before we had read we're not doing the X-Men anymore.
Yeah, that's
because they don't like represent us anymore. We are a multiplicity or an assemblage of different ideologies now, and the X-Men are a vestige of something that we don't need anymore or does not represent the entirety of us anymore.
Yeah, and that was just like the status quo for the next like 15 issues or so of this book.
It's been like 15 issues since it was 15 issues since that had been said, then
This would have
Scott
hit a
saying
lot
we're
harder,
bringing
yeah.
them back, this would hit a lot harder.
Yeah, I agree.
But placed here, like on the page after it's supposed to hit hard,
yeah,
just does not work for me. It just seems like retroactively changing things, so you justify your one-liner. That seemed cool.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, Scott's talking about the X-Men. That's weird. And then, like, here it is. Like, yeah, placement-wise, I agree. This seems off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of me wonders, just because this is, a Hickman issue that he's writing here, and this is his data page, I wonder if this is just in the notes when he was making, like, the idea for Krakoa and everything of, like, oh, going forward, there's not an X-Men team at the moment. That just is not a thing, because we see that play out. We're just not told it.
Yeah.
Like it is so blatantly here. But I still agree, like, even though the fallout would have been the exact same and the issues would not have changed, if this data page was in, like, issue number 1 or 2, I think would have done a lot better.
Yeah, and if it's in his planning notes, then I don't care. Like, the thing I'm reading is the comic book here.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah. But anyway.
Again, like, it's frustrating because, like, retroactively it makes sense. Like, there's nothing, like, in, like, the other issues that really contradict the idea that they've, like, decided not to use the X-Men name. But it's just like, why weren't we told that? Yeah. But anyway, we are back to the battle. Apocalypse has his swords broken, and she asked him if he wants to yield.
Apocalypse will remember that, as he takes great offense to this.
Yeah.
The swords he found in the ruins of a Egyptian temple are bad.
A shocker, right? The reforged blades of Atlantean silver that have been sitting for who knows how long.
Yeah, just not great swords.
Like sarcophagus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
can't compete against, I don't remember what Annihilation sword was called, but whatever.
The Twilight blade that tore the land asunder and, ruined most of Mutant Paradise.
I bet that one gets, like, cleaned regularly at the very least.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But, it turns out Apocalypse agrees with this, says, I will not yield, jumps in close, grabs the sword out of her hands, and uses that to just, like, cut her open.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like, takes a good chunk out of the side of her here.
Yeah. She says, okay, go ahead and finish it, and Apocalypse is just like, no, I'm not, I haven't seen you for thousands of years, I'm not killing you. And just says, I don't want this. Saturnyne says, I don't care. And Annihilation puts back on the helmet, who is just calling to her at this point. And
she tries to resist this, I think, worth noting.
Yeah, she says she doesn't want it, but really just doesn't have the strength to fight it at this point. But yeah, Annihilation puts on the helmet, says she's not dead, she's not yielded. This fight continues.
Not even her last form.
Yeah, this is not even her final form.
Yeah, that basically is what happens. It's fine. It's a nice, interlude to that fight because it's not over. But I do still, I repeat it again and again. I like this, what they did with Apocalypse here, and just gave him so much more depth, because all we've ever really seen of him is the big beat stick that is here to see the survival of the fittest. And yet when he has the chance to actually win this and save his people, he still just wants his wife back. The thing behind all of it was always just to get his wife back. And when he had the chance, he didn't take it.
The most diverse dad energy possible.
Yes, and it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Between this and Mystique just wanting her wife back, fantastic. This is a good era for any mutant that's currently married.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoy this moment quite a bit.
So, but yeah, that is the last issue for this episode. After this, we do have 2 more. We have Excalibur 15 and X of Swords Destruction, which is the finale of X of Swords.
Yeah.
I know we've been doing this for a little bit. I'm actually really sad that we're at the end here. I really, really like X of Swords.
Yeah,
I've really enjoyed it so far. On the other hand, I'm really excited to see what's next and get back in with some of the storylines that we left, like, trailing off.
Yeah, I agree.
think,
There was definitely stuff that was like kind of in the wings, still kind of boiling in the individual issues that I'm very excited to see again. Marauders almost feels unnatural where it left off with Kate and Shaw, for instance.
Yeah, that one's, I think, the most awkward. We haven't seen X Factor in a long time because really they're not involved in this entire event.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think most of what you can get out of this story we've gotten.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I think we're nearing the point where I would say, this might as well finish, which is what's happening. So I'm really happy about the pacing, actually, like how well scoped out the whole story is.
Yeah, I agree. It's been good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that will be the end of this episode. And yeah, next time, Excalibur number 15 and X of Swords Destruction will wrap up this event. We'll only be covering those 2 issues next week, and or next episode. And then after that, we will continue on with doing 3 issues apiece.
Yep, and I will make the schedule for that. Which, speaking of, if you do want to see what we are reading, what's coming up next, if you want to follow along, you can find our reading orders on our social media accounts. For the podcast, that is going to be Study of X. That is on X, also known as Twitter. That is on Blue Sky and is on Tumblr. If you follow there, we post, again, the reading orders, some clips from the issues that we've read, shout-outs to artists, as well as updates when new episodes do come out. And if you have listened to us this far, again, thank you so much for listening. If you could give us a review on your podcasting app of choice, that would be great. It helps us get out there and find more people to go along with this journey that we're on here. And if you have any questions, comments, your favorite event that has taken place in X of Swords, you can send us an email at studyofx@gmail.com, and we might just read it here on the podcast. If you are looking for us individually, you can find me on Blue Sky at Sawneeks, that is SAWNEEKS. I don't post too much there, just things here and there, a little bit about comics, a little bit about games, but if you need me, I'm there. And Tim, if they are looking for you because they have a ticket to the finale of X of Swords, it is a front row seat, where can they find you so they can give you that ticket?
Just, on the Quiet Council arguing with Xavier.
Okay. You know what? Can I join you there? That actually sounds like a lot of fun.
Seat's all full.
Ah, dang. Well, if somebody goes off to Otherworld and vacates their seat, let me know. Okay?
All right, we'll do.
And Sergio, if they are looking for you because they want to create more of Saturnyne's Mario Party games, where can they find you to get more ideas?
I'm currently on my workshop working on my pyramid-shaped egg for me to live in.
Okay. Bold choice of shape. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
that
is it for us. Yeah, that is a podcast. It is, you could say, one of the podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure is a thing they could say.
You should leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. It would be very important. Apple Podcasts, whatever that it's called.
I noticed the other day that you can now rate podcasts on Pocket Casts. So if you want to leave one there as well.
Yeah. That would also be great.
I won't say we're biased on this podcast, but Pocket Casts is very good. We are not endorsed by them, but they're very good.
I don't use that, actually, so we can safely say we're unbiased. But yeah,
okay.
I think that will be the end here.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've dragged it out long enough.
Yeah. All right.
All right, until next time, everybody. Later, mutants.
Bye.
Bye.